If I wanted to go climbing, I had to make my own route. We had no idea if it was going to work. In fact, in all the times though, as a kid coming over here, I remember looking at this and thinking, there's no way you can climb in here. And it never occurred to us in those first 4 or 5 years when I was starting to climb that this was a viable option.
I guess if you start with my worst blunder ever, you can always go up from there, right?
To visit with this new generation, they just think it's kind of like it's always been there for them, and I wonder if they ever think about it. It's like, where did this begin? You know, where did it begin? When did it begin? Who did it begin with? I feel like I know something that the rest of the world doesn't know. And it's kind of precious. When I walk in here and I see people enjoying this is awesome, and I'm absolutely thrilled that they're able to do that. But there's a part of this story that only I know, and my son knows, or the people who know me know. There's something that goes back even before, you know, the development of Maple Canyon, and starts before American Fork and Rock Canyon. And it starts with those guys that were like trying to figure out how to drag extension cords in a generator up the slope, you know? There's a way we can do this. I know there is, we just haven't figured it out yet.
So this is what's left in my pallet of bolts.
These are stainless hangers, stainless bolts. So, anchor station bolts, 1/2 inch. These are all my glue ends. Glue for sticking grandma to grandpa. Those are our brown sugar bolts. Drill bit like this. They've got those little flanges right there on them that makes them like slightly larger than the actual diameter of the shaft of the drill bit. If you grind those down in a grinder so that the hole is smaller than like 1/2 inch, so it's more like 7/16, then you pound a 1/2 inch bolt into it, bomber.
Made them all wrong. They took your flag and they took the country song.
We found that while we were doing some first ascents down in the Mineral Mountains. And that thing was wedged in the crack. And it had an old hemp rope hanging on. I mean, it could have been there for like 50 years. These are the springs off of a spike tooth harrow, or not a spike tooth harrow, but a spring harrow, wedged in a crack at the top of like a 200-foot buttress.
That's awesome.
Like, this is the best climbing booty I've ever found.
I don't really know why I do it, because I think about it, you know, it's not fun to chimney up a bushwhack. For what? You know, get to the top of a cliff. By that time you're dirty and sweaty, and then you still gotta bolt the route, and you still gotta clean the route. And then once you're done, then you wanna climb the route, but you're too exhausted to do that in the first place. So it's a lot of work, and I honestly don't know why I do it.
I don't know why I do it. I just really enjoy how creative it is. It's an awesome creative expression. The opportunities are gone. And here in Maple, the opportunities are not gonna run out in my lifetime, and maybe not my son's, you know. There is a part of me that's kind of wishes maple wasn't quite so popular. And I can wish for that in one hand, but then I have to claim responsibility in the other.
You got the rhythm, I got rhyme. Let's get together and have a good time. Let's dance.
This is what happens when you don't keep your life in order. When you lose your Yosemite hammer, you end up using a $3, what is this, a Harbor Freight hammer?
Together and ride our bikes.
Part guesswork, tap around and, oh, there's the spot.
Waving at everybody that we meet. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, why pay for it? Why? It's still cheaper than golf. It might not be, I don't know. I'm not a golfer.
Baby, all we have is time.
So when you're drilling routes, you're like a total beast of burden.
Yeah, because you got a drill, you got your blow tube, a wrench, a hammer.
And everything just hangs down and gets tangled up. It's a mess. It's like the worst big wall route you can be on. I came over actually with a couple of guys from Colorado. We put probably the very first bolts in maple that were actually intended with sport climbing in mind. And it's the two bolts that are at the top of Back to Zero. Like Tony Valdez and a couple of guys had done some ice routes and placed 1 or 2 bolts in various places in the canyon. It was the first time we realized that, you know what, maybe there's something to this. Amongst those of us who were developing, there was a disconnect. There was the Rock Canyon and the American Fork guys, you know, Peterson and Boyle and the whole list of them. I probably never actually even met half of them until 95 or 96. I'd come over and drill and they'd come over and drill and we'd never see each other. 1994 was the year. 93, there was 1 route in this canyon. End of 94, there was like 250. Of this ocean of rock, there's like that's seemingly like monotonous and almost like a monoculture. Every route has something totally unique that 30 years later you can still identify and you're like, oh, I know right where that move is. There was part of me that hoped that it would become what it is, but no, I didn't really foresee it happening.